Good afternoon, ma'am.
Nikhil Chari, where are your friends?
Ma'am, don't know, ma'am.
Okay, shall we start the class?
మ్యామ్ ఒక్కనే ఉన్నా మ్యామ్ క్లాస్ అయింది మ్యామ్ ఇప్పుడు కూడా ఒక్కనే ఉన్నా కదా మ్యామ్ క్లాస్
వస్తున్నారు.
ఓకే మ్యామ్ ఓకే మ్యామ్
Okay. Can you see the screen?
ఎస్ మ్యామ్
Yeah. Today we'll do revision class on Unit 2, cooling system, ignition system, and electrical system. We'll discuss half of second unit in this class. Okay, let us look at the syllabus. Cooling system, cooling requirements, air cooling, liquid cooling, thermo, water and forced circulation systems, radiators, types of radiators, cooling fan, water pump, thermostat, evaporative cooling, pressure sealed cooling, anti-freezing solutions. Next, ignition system, functions of an ignition system, battery ignition system, constructional features of storage, battery, auto transformer, contact breaker points, condenser, spark plug, magneto-coil ignition system, electronic ignition system using contact breakers, electronic ignition system using contact triggers, spark advance and retard mechanism. Next is electrical system, charging circuit, generator, current, voltage, regulator, starting system, Bendix drive mechanism, solenoid switch, lighting systems, horn, wiper, fuel gauge, oil pressure gauge, engine temperature indicator, etc. So here we'll learn half of second unit. It means still magneto-coil ignition system. Okay, till here we'll finish up today, and this all we'll take in tomorrow's class. Okay. First, we'll see what is cooling system. Cooling system is an apparatus employed to keep the temperature of a structure or device from exceeding limits imposed by needs of safety and efficiency. So this is a definition. To understand it clearly, let us take example of automobile only. In automobile, we'll have engine. So when engine is operating, the temperature of the engine will increase. As a result, what happens is the first point is the temperature which is getting produced there is higher than the melting point of the metals which we are using. So here, in order to reduce that temperature, we use cooling system, means the coolant. And next thing is, if temperature is increasing, the lubricating oil will get evaporated and all the components inside will get rusted. So that is one more problem with the temperature which is generating. So now we use cooling system in order to control the temperature. But at the same time, if you're cooling it more than required, here what happens is, means you'll not get the required temperature for maintaining. The efficiency of the system will decrease. Okay, if the temperature is decreasing, the power which you need, means the ignition will, means if ignition is not taking place properly, if fuel is not burning properly, in such cases the efficiency of the system will decrease. So here the work of cooling system is it should control the temperature but within the limits. Okay. So necessity of cooling system. See what I told is here. See, first point is engine and engine part should not reach its melting point. As I told, the temperature at which we are working is higher than the melting points of the parts. So we have to control the temperature. Next, preventing the lubrication oil from getting oxidized. I told you we'll have lubricating for all the parts, all the moving parts. If temperature is increasing, this lubricating oil will get evaporated and it forms rust. So in order to avoid this, you need a cooling system. Next, higher temperatures also lowers the volumetric efficiency of the engine. So if you have so much of temperature, it will decrease the efficiency of the engine. And at the same time, if you're having less temperature also, it will decrease the efficiency of the engine. The purpose of cooling system is to maintain the required temperature. Next, cooling requirement. It must be able to remove only about 30% of heat generated in the combustion chamber. Too much removal of heat lowers the thermal efficiency of the engine. It should remove heat at a fast rate when the engine is hot. So whatever I told in the previous slides, the same thing here. It should remove only 30% of the heat, not complete heat. At the same time, it should react fastly. when engine is getting heated up. So here we have two types of cooling system. First one is air cooling system. See, you look at this figure. In case of air cooling system, we'll have fins like this. This type of cooling system we generally see in bikes and in the cars, where uh, in the cars which we use in cool areas. It means if you go for some foreign countries where temperature is very cool, in such cases we use this cooling system. Here the advantage with this air cooling system is, as you just have fins, nothing else. It means you don't have water circulating system and all. So the temperature, the weight of the system will reduce. As a result, the efficiency of the vehicle will increase as the engine weight is reducing. But this system is not preferable in the places where you have higher temperatures, like our places. So here what happens is, in air cooling system, you have fins like this. So what air will pass through these fins. The requirement of this fins is for increasing the contact area, means surface area. So here the surface area is increasing with the increasing of fins. So heat will transfer from this fins to atmosphere. As a result, the temperature of the engine will reduce. So this is air cooling system. And whatever the system we are using here in our cars is liquid cooling system. So this is liquid cooling system. So here what happens is, see, this is the radiator. Water will flow through this radiator. You have a fan behind the radiator. The purpose of fan is to drag the air. So now here what happens is, when water is flowing through these pipes, the air will go carry the heat from the water, and that will get dissipated to the atmosphere. So the same air, uh, the same air, the same air will, sorry, the air will come and it will take the temperature, and it will dissipate to the atmosphere. The water will circulate back to the engine cylinders. So we have different types of radiators. What you're seeing here is just block diagram. In the next slides, coming up slides, I'll show you what are different types of radiators we use. But remember, till here, you have engine blocks here. Water is getting circulated in between. And once the water is getting heated up, the thermostat valve will get open and this water will be sent out. Okay, until and unless the temperature reaches to that point, the water will not get circulated into the system. Okay, once the temperature reaches the required point, means the value which you have set in this thermostats, it will get open and water starts flowing through this system. And once it gets cooled, it will come back to the engine. So now here we have different types of radiators. We'll see in the coming up slides what different types of designs we have in radiators. Okay, next is thermosiphon cooling system. Here what happens is, we know that if the density is less, it will float up. If density is more, it will come down. It's a general concept which we know. So here what happens is, this is the engine block. Okay, if water is getting heated up, it will go to the radiator which is at the top. And once the water gets cooled because of the air, again the same water will be pumped at the bottom. So here the if the density of cool water is less, is more, so it is coming down. The density of hot water is more, so it is going up. It will go, it will get evaporated, it will go, it will get cooled, and again it will come back. So it completely works on this principle. Okay, densities. Next is four-stage circulation system. Whatever we have just learned in water circulating system, it means liquid circulating system. Here is the same block diagram. This is a radiator, this is the engine, this is a thermostat, and this is a pump. So once the engine reaches higher temperature, the required temperature, if it crosses the limit that it should be, at that time the thermostat will get the indication and it will get open. Okay, so the air, the water from here will flow to radiator, and here it will get cooled up because of the flow of air, and the cooled water will be repumped to the engine. Okay, this is forced circulating system. Next one is types of radiators. We have three different types of radiators. First one is grilled tube radiator. Next one is tubular radiator. Next one is honeycomb radiator. See, you look at this grilled tube radiator. See, this is the inlet manifold. This is the outlet manifold, and this is the water passage. You'll have all pipes like this. Okay, so the water will get into this radiator from the top pipe. It will flow through all the pipes, and later it will come out through outlet manifold. This is grill tube radiator. Next one is tubular radiator. Here, see, water passage will be from this vertical passages, and here you can see this horizontal fins. So the purpose of this horizontal fins is to increase the contact area. As a result, the heat will get transmitted from the water passage to this fins, and this fins will help in transmitting the temperature, means sending the temperature from fins to the atmosphere. It dissipates to atmosphere. And next is honeycomb. So here you see you have a honeycomb structure like this. Water will pass through these structures, and you will have this holes in middle like honey structure, this rhombus shaped. Um, so here from this, the air will enter into the radiator and water will get cooled. So these are different types of radiators which we have. Next one is evaporative cooling. Here, the concept itself is evaporation. So here what happens is, once the water gets heated in the engine block, once the water gets heated in the engine block, it will get evaporated and it will come to the radiator. The radiator will help in transmitting the heat from vapor to the atmosphere. Once the vapor gets cooled, it will turn to water again, and this water will be sent to the cylinder block. So this is evaporative cooling. Next one is pressure sealed cooling. In case of pressure sealed cooling, they'll close the pressure. It means they don't allow the atmospheric air to enter into the cylinder. So as a result, what happens is the engine will get heated up. It means the starting of engine will become easily, because the temperature will increase very fast. But the thing is, as temperature will increase fast, the system should also work faster. So once the temperature increases, the safety valve will get open, and the air flow will start inside, and this water system, whatever you have, will start working. Okay, this is pressure sealed cooling system. Next one is anti-freezing solutions. So these are the anti-freezing solutions which we have. Denatured alcohol, glycerin, ethanol, glycol, propylene glycol, mixtures of alcohol and glycerin, and various mixtures of other chemicals. So these are the different anti-freezing solutions we use in automobiles. Next topic is ignition system. Ignition system is the spark plug which we have inside. So the system which helps in igniting the spark is the ignition system. Let us look at the definition. The system in an internal combustion engine that produces the spark to ignite the mixture of fuel and air. It includes the battery, ignition coil, distributor, spark plug associated with switches and wiring. So ignition system we mostly have in internal combustion engines only, like your bikes. Okay. So we have different types of ignition systems. First one is battery ignition system. See, this is battery. This is the ignition coil. You have two coils in this, primary coil and secondary coil. See, the outer one which you are seeing is primary coil, and the one that is getting winded to the iron, soft iron, and getting connected to the distributor is secondary coil. This is the blast. This blast is made with iron. The property of iron is, if temperature is increasing beyond the limit, then the resistance of the blast will also increase, so that it will control the temperature. Okay. Next, capacitor. Capacitor is for sending the current back. We'll see how it sends back in the next coming up slide. See, this blue color one which you are seeing here in square shape is connected to your camshaft. So when it is rotating, it will go and it will touch this plug here. As a result, it will become a closed circuit, and once it gets removed, it will come back. It means opening and closing will be done with the help of this camshaft. And you see at the distributor, this blue color one, see if this is going and touching the first one, the first plug will ignite, means spark will come from the first plug. And if it is going and touching the second one, spark will come from second. Similarly, whatever it will go and touch, the spark will come out from those plugs. Okay, so let us look at this working, how it works. Okay, we have some video for this.
Explain the essential parts and explain the essential parts and working of a battery ignition system. We know that ignition system is a complex electrical system whose function is to produce a spark and initiate the combustion process. The main parts of a typical battery ignition system are battery, ignition switch, ballast resistor, ignition coil, contact breaker, condenser, distributor, and spark plug. Now let's discuss each of these parts one by one. A rechargeable lead acid battery is used to provide electrical energy for ignition. This battery is recharged by a dynamo, which is driven by the engine. The battery is connected to the primary winding of the ignition coil through an ignition switch. This switch is used to turn the ignition system on or off. Under prolonged operations of the engine, the temperature of the ignition coil increases, which can be dangerous. To prevent this, a ballast resistor made up of iron wire is provided in series with the primary winding. Iron has a property that its resistance increases rapidly if a certain temperature is exceeded. Thus, the ballast resistor helps to keep the current down to safe value. Ignition coil is the source of ignition energy. Its function is to step up the low voltage to the level required for inducing an electric spark in the spark plug. Ignition coil consists of a magnetic soft iron core and two insulated conducting coils known as primary and secondary windings. The primary winding consists of 200 to 300 turns with its both end connected to exterior terminals. The secondary winding consists of 21,000 turns with its one end connected to the high tension wire that goes to the distributor and the second end connected to the primary coil. Contact breaker is a mechanical device for making and breaking the primary circuit. It consists of two metal points, one fixed and the other movable. While the fixed metal point is connected to the contact breaker assembly, the movable one is connected to a spring-loaded pivot arm. The spring on this arm keeps the both metal points in contact, thereby closing the primary circuit. The pivoted arm has a heel attached in the middle, which rests on the cam, which is driven by the engine. Now, as the high point on the cam passes under the heel, the contact breaks and current flow through contact breaker stops. A condenser is connected in parallel with the contact breaker to prevent the burning of the metal points, and also helps in providing the ignition energy to secondary winding. A distributor is provided for distributing the ignition surges to individual spark plugs in the correct sequence and at correct time. It consists of a rotor in the middle and the metallic electrodes on the periphery. These metallic electrodes are directly connected to the spark plugs and are also known as ignition harness. The secondary winding of the ignition coil is connected to the rotor of this distributor, which is driven by the camshaft. As the rotor rotates, it passes the high tension current to the ignition harness, which then carries these high tension currents to the spark plugs. Spark plug is the output part of the whole ignition system. It consists of two electrodes, one attached to the high tension current carrying wires and the other is grounded. The potential difference created between these electrodes ionize the gap present between them, and thus a spark is generated which ignites the combustible mixture. Now let's try to understand the working of ignition system. When the ignition switch is turned on, the primary circuit gets closed and current starts flowing through it. This current, known as the primary current, sets up a magnetic field around the soft iron core of the ignition coil. When the breaker points opens by the action of the cam, the current which was flowing through the contact breaker starts flowing through the condenser. As the condenser charges, the primary current falls and the magnetic field collapses. This change in the magnetic field induces a current in the primary winding, which flows in the same direction as the primary current and charges the condenser to a voltage much higher than battery voltage, thus stopping the current flow from the battery. Due to this, the condenser then discharges into the battery, thus reversing the direction of both primary current and magnetic field. This rapid collapse and reversal of the magnetic field induces a very high voltage in the secondary winding of the ignition coil. This high voltage is then carried through the high tension wires to the distributor rotor, where it passes through one of the ignition harnesses into the spark plug and produces a spark. Note that another very important function of the condenser is to prevent the arc across the breaker points. If the condenser was not connected in the primary circuit, the induced extra voltage due to the collapsing magnetic field would cause an arc across the breaker points, which could be hazardous. To prevent this, the condenser is used, which absorbs all the voltage to charge itself above the battery voltage. The circuit diagram of this system is. Now let's summarize the essential parts and the working of the battery ignition system as.
That is in next video, not in this video. Okay, next. Next is magnetocoil ignition system. For this also, we'll have a video.
Hello guys, welcome back to the another video of Engineers Academy for a new video. So guys, ignition system. So guys, the ignition system is very much similar and all parts are different except of this spark plug. So over here in case of magneto type ignition system, the magneto is used to produce and generate the spark and generate the energy. And in the previous case, that is the battery which is used, which is the source of battery. Like so over here guys, the magneto, which is nothing but the small electrical generator which is rotated by the engine and produces high voltage. So that is the main function of the magneto. So just like the same in the previous, it contains both the primary and the secondary winding. So there is no need of the ignition coil as we have seen in the previous one. So guys, this magneto is of two types basically. The first one is armature rotating type and the second one is the magnet rotating type. So over here in the case of armature rotating type, the armature is rotating and the magnet becomes stationary, and in the magnet rotating time it becomes vice versa. So guys, let's check out all the parts of this magneto ignition system. This first one is the distributor. The main function of this distributor to regulate the spark in each spark plug at the correct sequence. So basically the timing is very much important in this sparking ignition system. So guys, this distributor works for that basically. So there are two types of the distributor. The first one is the carbon brush type distributor and the second one is the gap type distributor. So basically as you can see, the carbon brush is provided over here in case of carbon brush type in the distributor. So this carbon brush carried by the rotor arm sliding over the contact surface and the metallic segment embedded into this distributor cap or molded in insulating material. So in a gap type distributor, there the electrode of the rotor arm pass close but does not make a contact with the distributor cap. So there is the nowhere of the electrode and the life of the electrode gets increased. The next part over here which is used is the spark plug. So guys, as we all know about the spark plug, so this spark plug consists of two electrodes, a steel shell and an insulator. So guys, this one I have depicted that the center one, that is the central electrode, that is connected with the supply of the ignition coil basically, and it is around that there is the insulation is provided. So guys, there is a small air gap between the steel shell and the central electrode. between which the spark gets generated. So the electrode usually made a high nickel alloy is totally electrode made by high nickel alloy, so it can withstand with a high temperature and corrosion resistance. So basically, the next next part over here in this magneto-ignition system is the capacitor. We can also call it as a condenser. So just this same, just like the having two metallic plates over here in a capacitor, which does not make an electric contact, and there is an insulating material. So let's check out the working of the magneto-ignition system. So guys, just like the battery ignition system, the working of the magneto-ignition system is also the same. So first, when the engine starts, during the cranking, the magneto rotates, which generates the very high voltage basically due to that cranking and the rotation of the magneto. The ignition capacitor connects in parallel with the contact breaker, and one end of the magneto winding is also grounded through a contact breaker. So the cam regulates the contact breaker, and whenever the breaker gets open, the current flows into the condenser, that is into the capacitor, instead of that is in the distributor, and which gets charged the condenser. So as the condenser becomes a charger, the primary current falls, the magnetic field collapses over here. So this will induce a much higher voltage in a condenser. So as there is the much higher voltage in a condenser, the very high voltage EMF gets generated and which produces the spark at the spark plug through the distributor. So guys, this is how the magneto ignition system works. So guys, let's check out the advantages and disadvantages of the magneto ignition system basically. So first of all, let's check out the advantages over here is of the magneto ignition system. So guys, this system is very much more reliable at the medium and very high speed, which is it is not suitable for the low speed basically, though it is suitable for the high speed. So as there is no external battery, it becomes more reliable, and there is less frequently maintenance it is required. It requires very less frequently maintenance over here in this case of magnetic ignition system. So guys, it has some of the disadvantages also. It has a starting problem at low cranking speed at the starting. So over here in this case, we need an external battery which will cost more. So this magneto ignition system is much more expensive as compared to the battery ignition system. Hence, it is used in a high heavy duty automotive. Also, there is a possibility of the misfire due to the leakage because of the wiring carry a very high voltage. So guys, in this video, that was all about the magneto ignition system. So guys, we have seen over here the parts working also, and advantages and disadvantages also.
Now, do you have any doubts till what we have discussed today? Is it clear? చెప్పు రోహిత్.
మ్యామ్ అది ఆ కండెన్సర్ దగ్గర నుంచి అర్థమవుతుంది, అంటే కాంటాక్ట్ బ్రేక్ అయినాక వోల్టేజ్ అనేది మ్యాగ్నెటిక్ ఫీల్డ్ అనేది కొలాప్స్ చేసి వోల్టేజ్ అనేది పెరుగుతుంది అంట కదా మ్యామ్ కండెన్సర్ దగ్గర నుంచి.
మ్యాగ్నెటిక్ కాయిల్ ఇగ్నిషన్ సిస్టమా బ్యాటరీ ఇగ్నిషన్ సిస్టమ్?
రెండిట్లో సేమే ఉన్నాయి కదా మ్యామ్ పాయింట్లు అయితే కాంటాక్ట్ బ్రేకర్ దగ్గర నుంచి.
ఇది బ్యాటరీ ఇగ్నిషన్ సిస్టమ్ రైట్, రెండు సేమే ఉంటుంది, కొంచెం డిఫరెన్స్ ఉంది అంతే. దిస్ ఇస్ బ్యాటరీ.
ఒకసారి కాంటాక్ట్ బ్రేకర్ లా
కాంటాక్ట్ బ్రేకర్ దగ్గర చెప్పాలా?
ఆ నుంచి చెప్పారా?
సి ఇప్పుడు ఇది ఉంది కదా, ఇది ఈ సర్క్యూట్, ఈ బ్లూ కలర్ కనిపిస్తుందా ఇక్కడ? దిస్ విల్ బి కనెక్టెడ్ టు ద క్యామ్ షాఫ్ట్. క్యామ్ షాఫ్ట్ రొటేట్ అయినప్పుడు ఇది టచ్ అవుతుంది, వెనక్కి వస్తుంది, టచ్ అవుతుంది, వెనక్కి వస్తుంది. అంటే ఏంటి, సర్క్యూట్ ఓపెన్ అవుతుంది, క్లోజ్ అవుతుంది. అయితే సర్క్యూట్ అంటే ఇది టచ్ అవ్వనప్పుడు ఏం రాదు, ఐ మీన్ దెర్ విల్ బి నో కరెంట్ ఫ్లో. when it touches it, then the circuit will be closed. Okay, when circuit is closed, what happens is here ikkada second coil undi kada ikkada, దీంట్లోకి కరెంట్ పాస్ అవుతుంది. ఓకే, ఫ్రమ్ హియర్ ద కరెంట్ విల్ గో టు దిస్ డిస్ట్రిబ్యూటర్. వాట్ డిస్ట్రిబ్యూటర్ విల్ డూ ఇస్ ఇట్ విల్ బి రొటేటింగ్ కంటిన్యూస్లీ. ఇదేమి అటు ఇటు ఇటు అటు ఏం తిరగదు. మనం ఏంటి ఫైరింగ్ ఆర్డర్ గురించి నేర్చుకున్నాం, గుర్తుందా? ఫైరింగ్ ఆర్డర్ అంటే వి డోంట్ స్పార్క్ మీన్స్ వి డోంట్ ఇగ్నైట్ ఆల్ ద థింగ్స్ ఎట్ వన్స్. సో ఇక్కడ చూడు 1 3 4 2 అట్లా, అంటే ఫస్ట్ ది తర్వాత సెకండ్ ది తర్వాత థర్డ్ ది అట్లా ఉండదు ఇగ్నిషన్. అంటే ఏమవుతుందంటే ఇఫ్ యు ఆర్ ఇగ్నైటింగ్ ఎట్ వన్ పాయింట్ మీన్స్ కంటిన్యూస్లీ 1 తర్వాత 2 2 తర్వాత 3 3 తర్వాత 4, if it is happening like this, what happens is the heat will increase at one side of the bearings and bearings will bend. So that's why what we do is, in order to maintain the heat, means in order to distribute the heat evenly, we'll have a firing order. So what it does is, first it will attach to first circuit, so this will get closed. So current will pass like this. If it is attaching 3, current will pass like this. Now what happens is, at the spark plug you have 2 electrodes, one positive and one negative. Okay, there is some gap between the positive and negative electrode. So here what happens is, there is some gap between positive and negative electrode. As a result, the gas which is in between is getting ionized and generating a spark there. Electric spark ఇక్కడ generate అవుతుంది. So once electric spark is getting generated, the fuel will get ignite. అర్థమైందా?
ఇది అర్థమైంది మ్యామ్. కాకపోతే ఇది కాంటాక్ట్ అయినప్పుడు కండెన్సర్ లో నుంచి కరెంట్ పాస్ అవుతుంది కదా, ఆ కరెంట్ అనేది బ్యాటరీ కరెంట్ కంటే ఈఎంఎఫ్ అనేది ఎక్కువ ఉంటది అని చెప్పారు కదా మ్యామ్.
ఈఎంఎఫ్
ఎలా మ్యామ్?
ఇప్పుడు చూడు ఇక్కడ నుంచి
పెరిగింది
అది మ్యాగ్నెటో కాయిల్ ఇగ్నిషన్ సిస్టమ్ లో. అయితే ఏంటి, when it is rotating continuously, if the speed increases, the EMF will also increase, but the circuit will get collapsed if EMF is increasing so much. In such cases, what we'll do is, we have a capacitor here. The purpose of capacitor is to control all the voltage and currents. ఇక్కడ కెపాసిటర్ ఉందా? మ్యాగ్నెటో కాయిల్ ఇగ్నిషన్ సిస్టమ్ లో కూడా కెపాసిటర్ ఉంది. ఇక్కడ ఇక్కడ ఇక్కడేమో ఈ బ్లాస్ట్ ఏం చేస్తుంది, ఇక్కడ ఇది వోల్టేజ్ ఇంక్రీజ్ అయినప్పుడు ఇది కంట్రోల్ చేస్తుంది. అండ్ మోర్ ఓవర్ ఇంకా ఇక్కడ ఈ సర్క్యూట్ లో ఇంక్రీజ్ అయినప్పుడు వోల్టేజ్, అండ్ మోర్ ఓవర్ యు సీ వెన్ ఇట్ ఈస్ గోయింగ్ and closing the circuit, and whenever it is coming back again, at that places also there are chances of getting spark. So the purpose of this capacitor is to avoid all these things, అంటే స్పార్క్ రావడము, వోల్టేజ్ పెరగడము, ఇలాంటివన్నీ అవాయిడ్ చేయడానికి కెపాసిటర్. ఇంకా ఓకే, ఇంకేమైనా డౌట్స్? ఓకే ఓకే, టుమారో విల్ హ్యావ్ డిస్కషన్ ఆన్ రెస్ట్. వాట్ ఇక్కడ వరకు డిస్కస్ చేసుకున్నాం మ్యాగ్నెటో కాయిల్ ఇగ్నిషన్ సిస్టమ్ వరకు, అండ్ రెస్ట్ ఆల్ విల్ డిస్కస్ టుమారో. ఓకే, shall I wind up the meeting? Yeah, bye.